Look, the situation with Alex Eala has dominated the headlines recently, and frankly, it is completely understandable. We are witnessing athletes emerge from nations not typically known for tennis, and her rise is a massive moment for the Philippines. She is arguably the most significant racket wielder that nation has ever produced, and the passion of her fanbase reflects that intensity. This is simply the reality of how the sport is evolving. Critics might argue the organizers dropped the ball by not putting her on a showcase court immediately. However, you have to remember she is still a rookie. The schedule during the early rounds is always a logistical nightmare. Balancing the legends on the main stages with rising stars is a juggling act that is never easy to perfect. That said, this is the kind of headache organizers dream of. The Filipino turnout was absolutely historic. The energy reminded me of the US Open. The atmosphere depends heavily on the venue, but you could physically feel the roar of that crowd. If I had to rank the electricity, Melbourne and New York are currently in a league of their own. Aryna Sabalenka just watched her status as the biggest star at the Australian Open get completely hijacked by Alex Eala. The defending champion is delivering flawless performances to vacant seats, while 5,000 fanatics are nearly rioting on Court 6 for a glimpse of a 20-year-old qualifier. The television ratings, merchandise frenzy, and internet explosion for Eala have officially surpassed the world number one. The entire power structure of tennis has crumbled in Melbourne. Is this surge in popularity for Eala undeniable star quality? Or is it merely national pride creating a temporary bubble? Give us your unfiltered opinion in the comments. We need to dissect exactly what went down, because this level of disruption is unheard of in the modern game. A 20-year-old Filipino ranked outside the top 100 just stole the thunder, the crowd, and the headlines from the reigning queen Aryna Sabalenka. I am not using hyperbole or spinning a narrative here. These are hard facts backed by ticket sales, streaming analytics, and viral engagement metrics. She played a phenomenal game, and I gave it everything I had. I battled until the very final ball dropped. I let a few chances slip, but that is the nature of the sport. You lose today, so you can win tomorrow. My focus now is on hope and prayer for a victorious season ahead. Thank you. Sabalenka is executing championship-caliber warfare on the main stage with primetime billing. She is dismantling her rivals with her signature aggression, serving aces and crushing winners exactly as the script demands. Yet she is performing these feats in front of a ghost town with rows of empty plastic staring back at her. In stark contrast, Eala is exiled to the outer courts meant for rookies, yet she is drawing mobs so dense that security teams were overwhelmed by fans scaling walls for a view. The specific statistics are nothing short of staggering. Officials confirm that while Court 6 is built for 1,500 spectators, over 5,000 people flooded the area. The venue was bursting at the seams. Safety logs indicate they smashed capacity limits by 300%. Supporters were literally dangling from the perimeter fencing, chanting with the ferocity of a soccer riot rather than a polite tennis match. And this is where the sting really hits for Sabalenka. While the champion battled on global television, Eala was merely warming up on Court 10, hitting practice balls with zero stakes. Yet the broadcast data from Southeast Asia and the Pacific revealed a shocking truth. 40% more viewers were glued to Eala's practice session than Sabalenka's actual tournament match. Let that sink in. A warm-up drill attracted a larger audience than the defending champion fighting for a title. That statistic has sent sponsors and executives into a tailspin because it redefines who holds the real power in this sport. Power no longer belongs to the athlete with the deepest trophy cabinet or the highest seed. It belongs to the icon who can spark a visceral emotional connection with millions who never gave a damn about tennis before. The disparity in treatment between these two is brutal. Sabalenka faces the press only to be grilled about the crowd outside rather than her own brilliance. She offers textbook responses about her strategy, but the reporters have already tuned out. They ignore her analysis to ask about the Filipino sensation, causing a scene 50 yards away in the parking lot courts. That situation has to be a mental nightmare. You hold the top ranking, you hold the trophy. You are playing the game of your life, yet you are being cast as an extra in someone else's blockbuster movie. The queen is watching her relevance fade in real time, and she is powerless to stop it because this battle isn't about skill. This is a war of cultural identity. The grounds of Melbourne Park have shifted beneath our feet. Typically, a Grand Slam is a mosaic of flags from every corner of the globe dotting the stands. It is absolute bedlam in here, a sea of crimson, royal blue, and sun yellow flags swarming the stands. The roar is so deafening it's drowning out the speakers 3 courts over. Forget a standard tournament. This feels like a war zone where national honor is hanging by a thread. Sabalenka stands on one side as the Terminator of the Tour, a machine built for domination. She is a physical giant, executing every shot with robotic precision, but there is an icy distance to her game that leaves fans cold. Perfection is boring when the outcome feels scripted, the thrill dies instantly. Then you have Eala, the chaotic variable, the scrapper punching, way above her weight class. Standing a head shorter than her rival, she has to outthink them, channeling that grit and geometry she mastered at the Rafa Nadal Academy. Every single point looks like a fight for her life. Every victory sends shockwaves through the bracket. The suspense is baked into her DNA because the odds say she should lose every time she steps on the court. But this goes deeper than forehands and backhands. Eala is carrying a burden Sabalenka will never understand. For millions across the islands in Southeast Asia, she is living proof that they belong in the spotlight of the world stage. She is the dream made of flesh, showing you can rise from a place with zero tennis history and go toe-to-toe with the gods. Sabalenka is hunting for silverware. Eala is fighting for the soul of a nation, and that is why the crowd has picked its side so violently. A thunderous serve from the favorite gets a golf clap, but a scraped-out point from Eala brings grown men to tears. The Eala era isn't just a catchy nickname anymore. It is becoming a prophecy. What started as a viral hashtag has mutated into a full-blown movement. It is a loud declaration that Filipino tennis has kicked down the door and is here to stay. In the past, regional players were just cameos who vanished after round one, but this feels permanent. This is the start of a dynasty, a shift that is terrifying the old guard in Europe and the States because the demographics of the sport are changing. We are witnessing a Tiger Woods moment, a cultural explosion that could flip the entire business model of professional tennis upside down. Untapped markets are cracking open and the sponsors are circling like sharks. The center of gravity is sliding toward Asia, and the cash flow proves it. Insiders confirm that the Titans, Nike, Adidas, Wilson, are in a ruthless bidding war to sign her, knowing she is the golden ticket. It is not just about signing an athlete. It is about buying the keys to a massive region that never cared about the sport before. The revenue potential from locking down the Filipino and Southeast Asian fan base is simply off the charts. Meanwhile, the world number one has her contract signed and sealed. She might be rich, but she is watching brands throw bank vaults at a rookie, because that rookie has the one thing money can't buy: cultural influence that bleeds way outside the lines of the court. And don't think this is just hype. Her game has evolved enough to justify every bit of the mania. That serve, once a liability for the teenager, has transformed into a legitimate weapon. She is slicing that lefty serve out wide, carving up angles that look terrifyingly similar to the prime Nadal playbook. But the real evolution is inside her head. Look at how she clawed back against that top-tier American after getting crushed in the opener. A year ago, she would have folded and packed her bags. Instead, she rode the noise, let the crowd lift her up, and ground out a win in 3 grueling sets. That kind of steel is the difference between a could-have-been and a legend. Sabalenka cracks when the stadium turns against her. She has admitted the hostility gets under her skin. Eala, she eats that chaos for breakfast. The louder it gets, the harder she hits. You cannot coach that killer instinct. It is a personality trait that gives her an edge no ranking system can measure. The city of Melbourne is cashing in too, with reports of $15 million in extra tourism spending over just 2 weeks. Flights are packed with pilgrims coming from Singapore, Jakarta, and Hong Kong just to catch a glimpse of the phenomenon. They aren't here for the Australian Open, they are here for her. This has crossed the line from a sports story to a cultural event, and the scenes back in Manila are even wilder. When she takes the court, gridlock in the capital vanishes and office productivity flatlines. Universities are pausing lectures to stream the match. It is the same hysteria we saw when Pacquiao was knocking people out. And that is insanity for a country where tennis usually ranks somewhere below 0 on the priority list. The mere fact that Eala is sparking this level of hysteria in an international arena proves she has evolved into a full-blown icon. You have to imagine Sabalenka sitting there trying to compute how she is essentially invisible at the very slam she is destroying. On paper, she is miles ahead of Eala, hitting harder, winning cleaner, and putting up numbers that dwarf the competition. She has the ranking to back it up, but that is meaningless now because viral fame has zero respect for statistics. It comes down to raw emotional pull, and nothing highlighted that cruelty more than the media ignoring Sabalenka's win to grill her about Eala's crowds. She kept the mask on, gave the polite PR answer, but you could practically feel the steam coming out of her ears. Here she is paving the road to a title defense while the world is busy obsessing over a qualifier on the side courts. That kind of snub messes with your head in ways that are tough to shake off. It is a harsh wake-up call that being number one on the scoreboard does not make you number one in the hearts of the public. Charisma plays by its own rules, completely separate from talent, and right now, Eala is drowning in it while Sabalenka is left high and dry. We have seen this movie before when the sport's entire landscape shifted overnight. Think back to Serena Williams bursting onto the scene and dragging millions of fresh eyes to the screen. Maria Sharapova unlocked Russia and made the game trendy for the youth, while Lina's victories forced the whole industry to pivot toward Asia. Eala is sparking that exact seismic change, but this time she is rallying Southeast Asia and Filipinos in every corner of the globe. Anywhere you find a Filipino community, Eala has an instant army ready to turn a quiet match into the chaotic scenes we witnessed in Melbourne. That is a weapon she carries for life, though everyone is asking if this is a lasting movement or just a flavor of the month hype train. Considering they are calling it the Eala era, the fans clearly think this is here to stay. Big money's betting on it too, judging by the corporate checks flying her way. Even the tournament directors are scrambling to upgrade logistics for her massive crowds, signaling that this chaos is the new standard. Sabalenka likely prays this fever breaks once Eala stumbles, but looking at the past, that is wishful thinking. The moment a new group falls in love with the game, because of a single icon, they usually stick around long after that star fades. Serena's fans did not just vanish, they kept watching. Just like Tiger Woods built a golf audience that remained, Eala's impact is going to echo far beyond her playing days. Here's the kicker: Eala does not need to lift the trophy to own the narrative. A loss tomorrow would not make a dent in the phenomenon she has already unleashed. She has proved she drives revenue and eyeballs better than the champ, creating a rift in the tennis pecking order that is impossible to fix. Sabalenka might walk away with the hardware and notch another slam on her belt. But Eala leaves knowing she stops the world when she steps on court, a level of influence that no ranking points can measure. Aryna Sabalenka has been totally overshadowed by a 20-year-old qualifier who brought the noise and the ratings despite lagging 100 spots behind in the standings. Make no mistake, this Australian Open. But Australian Open is Alex Eala's property, and so he's property now. Trophies aside, charisma is king, and Sabalenka is getting a brutal education in that fact. Smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the real tennis power struggle.